And now, weighing in out of the blue corner, Josh the Punk Thompson. 100%. And on the other mic, he weighs in from the red corner, Big John McCarthy.
Well, we want to welcome everyone to the newest edition of the Weighing In podcast. We had a UFC fight night from Long Island, New York. Everyone wants to fight in Long Island, New York. Great matchups overall. A little bit disappointing on the main event, not because it wasn't shaping up to be a great fight. It's just we had an injury, and that's what happens in this sport. We're going to talk about that and everything else that is going on in the world of combat sports. Big-time Ryan Garcia fight going on right now that we can't watch because we're talking to you, but we're going to talk about it later. What's up, Josh?
What's going on, man? You guys got to be bear with me a little bit. I've got like chlorine or something in my eyes. If you guys are watching us on
He's
YouTube,
crying.
I'm like, my eyes are watering. I'm like blinking a lot to try and get some.
Getting all blubbery.
Look, my vision's bad enough as it is. But then we did some reads a second ago, and I'm like trying to like focus, and I couldn't see it. Like it was all
horrible.
blurred together. It was horrible. So I'm gonna have to give one of those sponsors a free read just cause. It's like, oh man! But overall, I don't know how I feel about these fights in the early morning. It was 8 a.m. here when that shit started.
Yeah, it's kind of early for you. For you, it's real early. For me, it was like 11 o'clock. But it's like I kind of like them, and then I kind of don't because I don't get any shit done. Because normally when I be working, I'm watching fights now. Where normally at nighttime, I'm tired of working. I'm done. I'm gonna watch the fights. That's a relaxation. But
yeah, I had mixed emotions about it. I was like, okay, it was done by 3 o'clock. I'm like, all right, cool. The rest of my day. So I went swimming for a little bit and, hung out outside and just enjoyed some time with family and friends and stuff. And then now I'm inside at 6 o'clock and we're filming. I'm like, I don't know how I feel about this. It's a little weird. It was just kind of threw me off. I just know that when I woke up this morning, I was thinking to myself, damn, the fights are like in like a couple hours. Yeah, I had to go to the gym, get a workout in, do everything beforehand. Otherwise, I wouldn't have done nothing today. Just laid around. I just laid around on the damn couch, watch fights all morning. I did notice though, John, that if you look throughout the crowd, it made a difference in the crowd. Like even when the main event was going, there was still no one there.
A lot of seats were open.
Yeah, and I was like, that's not good when you're in Long Island, New York, that area there. It should be almost it should be a sold out crowd or so close to a sold out crowd.
Well, they claimed it was sold out, but there was a whole lot of seats that were empty.
Yeah,
but I think a lot of those seats that we were seeing that were empty were also ones that the UFC is giving to people. They just decided not to show up, so shame on them.
Yeah, how fucked up is that? UFC gives you guys tickets and you guys don't come. Interesting.
Yep.
Anyways, but look, there was some good fights on the card. There was some
amazing fights on the card.
Yeah, some eye-opening fights that I think the reality needs to come for some fighters and saying like, hey, you know what? Maybe it's not what I want to do anymore. Maybe I shouldn't be doing this anymore. But the other thing as well, there was a lot of positive stuff to take away from these fights. A lot of positive stuff from some of these young, talented fighters.
The positivity is flowing. Go ahead.
Like Jourdain is a savage.
Oh, dude.
Savage.
That fight between him and Burgos was fun.
I thought it was a great fight.
And you got to see a different side of Shane Burgos because normally he's a guy trying to stand up all the time and throw, and he was doing all kinds of stuff, getting the back, looking for submissions. Jourdain in that third round. He was all over him going after him. And you got to give it for Burgos, man. Dude, clanking balls because he was getting lit up and he couldn't move really. You could tell his legs were affected by that body triangle that he had on for so long. Mm-hmm. Just they got filled with lactic acid and they're not moving. And so he's standing there as a punching bag, but still trying to slip his head. Took a lot of big shots, but stayed tough in the fight and ended up getting the decision. It was a great fight overall.
It was a good fight. It was a good fight. But I don't know. John decided to start right in the middle of the card. So let's.
You're the one that brought
up how great of a fight Jourdain and Burgos was, and John just started riffing on it. I'm like, hey, buddy, you were excited. They can tell your panties are all wet and stuff now.
Yeah, well,
all right. So let's start at the top. Panties. Let's go right to the top. It's very unfortunate what happened.
That was my disappointment fight.
Oh, man. It was shaping up to be a good fight, though.
Yeah, it was. And first round was really entertaining.
And what I took away from that is that Yair is fast. This show is brought to you by MyBookie.ag. MyBookie.ag brings you some of the best betting odds across the world. And I'm being honest right now with you. Big John and I have been using them for years now. It's one of the best sites that you can use. Also, when you use our promo code Wayne in and use that little QR code right there, they're going to give you a little extra spending cash with your first initial deposit. And on top of that, with most online gambling sites, what you run into the problem is you have to bet your money over and over again to actually be able to pull your winnings out. Now, MyBookie only suggests that you use your winnings one time. After you bet those winnings one time, you can go ahead and pull all of your winnings out from then on. That is a bonus for any of the online gambling sites. At mybookie.ag, use our promo code Wayne in with that QR code right there that Podcast Dave's going to put up, and they will give you a little extra spending cash with your first initial deposit. Thank you so much for supporting mybookie.ag and this podcast.
Oh, he's always been that way.
He was fast. He was touching him. He was landing some clean.
But we knew he was going to be faster than Brian.
We did, but I didn't expect him to be that. I know, but I didn't expect him to be that fast. It was significant. It was a significant difference in speed.
Yeah,
John.
but I knew he was going to be faster than Brian. The question was Brian going to be able to slow him down, get into the clinch, which he was doing, and eventually work his way to being on the ground, which he did, and his shoulder popped out. I've seen it happen too many times. It's part of the sport. It's an injury. I know there are some people out there saying, no, that was a submission. No, it wasn't. But, okay, whatever you want to say. But it was like, it was, it's a clear win for Yair. He deserves the win. He was, kind of part of the reason for the injury. Brian pulling his arm out, that's what it was. So he deserves the win.
Let me ask you this. I mean, he's probably going to have surgery. He probably has like some sort of slap tear in his labrum, something like that in his shoulder. So he's going to probably have surgery. It'll probably take about 4 to 5 months for him to come back from that.
Yep.
So that's one. Someone threw out I think at the presser at the end, they were saying, hey, you know what? Is this one of those scenarios where you have Emmett and Yair fight for the vacant title? Or like, not a vacant, sorry, interim title?
Okay.
An interim
Why
title.
An interim? Why?
Because Volkanovski's getting his hand worked on, and they're saying when he does come back that his next fight will probably be at 55.
Well, who's to know if first off, Volkanovski's not moving to 155. He's talking about fighting there and then moving back and forth between featherweight and 150. Oh, yes.
I didn't get that perception.
He's not relinquishing his title at all.
No, I get what you're saying.
He wants both.
I get what you're saying.
Oh, okay.
But if he wins the 55, he's not going back down to 45.
Yes, he is.
I don't
he
think
wants
that's an
both.
option. The vibe that I got from Dana,
I'm not saying it's an option. I'm saying what he wants.
No, what he wants, yeah, but I don't think it's an option. It's like if he wins the title at 55, I think he's gonna be stuck fighting there. I think that's going to be where he's going to end up being. Well, if he loses the title, if he wins the title and then loses the next match, then he can go back down probably to 45. But I don't see Dana allowing him to lock up too. And the vibe that I got from him was, you know what? He's kind of done everything at 45. And listening to Dana, he's like, I don't mind the idea of Yair and Josh Emmett for the interim title. Let Volk go and do what he wants to do after his hand surgery. And if he wants to come back down to 45 and fight those guys, great. If he doesn't, then, I like it. Whatever. I kind of got that vibe of let him go to 55. Let him challenge himself. He's done everything he's needed to do at 45.
Well,
the only guy.
Go ahead.
The only guy left, really, John, to me is I don't look at, and no disrespect, and I got a lot of respect for Josh Emmett. He's not a threat. He's not a threat to Volk. I don't look at him as being a threat. He's got punching power. Of course, that's always a threat. We get that. But wrestling pedigree, I'm gonna go. Josh Emmett is the better wrestler. Yes. But I think in MMA, the timing of Volkanovski's takedowns, the way that he shoots his takedowns, how he does it off of the combinations, they work for him. I mean, I think that he in MMA is probably the better wrestler. And in terms of striking, sure, maybe he's got to avoid the shots, but if he crushes the space, fights him in a phone booth, and grinds on him and does all those things. I mean, he doesn't have to fight him in a space either. He's just got to be very cautious on the outside. But I think that Volkanovski is going to be the faster fighter. He's going to be probably the better wrestler, the more the grinder. He's got all those tools and those weapons. And I'm not going to count Josh Emmett out, but I mean, like, in that same breath, I'm kind of counting Josh Emmett out when it comes to that fight. Now, Yair to me poses a big threat. Just stylistically, Volkanovski being shorter, the push kicks up the middle to the face, the flying knees, the spinning kicks, all of those things, up elbows, those things all play favor to Yair because of his height and the reach and the speed in which he has. Now, Volkanovski and him might be the similar speed, but in terms of tightness on the feet, Yair is the better striker, and he's going to mix it up a lot more. He's going to keep Volkanovski guessing. It won't be like Yair. It won't be like Max Holloway. It won't be like Brian Ortega. It'll be somebody who is mixing it up so much, he's going to keep Volkanovski guessing. Whereas Max was jab, right hand, throw a kick maybe here and there, but a lot of boxing. Brian Ortega was a lot of boxing as well. Take big shots, a lot of boxing, a little bit of wrestling, a little bit of jiu-jitsu. There's threats there, but on the feet, Yair is just an animal. And I think he proved tonight, just in that one little transition for armbar, he's not bad off of his back anymore. He's not the Yair that we saw fight Frankie Edgar. He's a different Yair Rodriguez now.
I agree
when it comes to his grappling. So I don't know. I think I'm not saying he would sub. There's no way I'm saying he would sub Volkanovski. I'm just simply saying, stylistically, I think that Yair is a more dangerous threat against Volk. And I'm not counting out Volk. I've done that too many times. I'm not doing that again.
Well,
okay.
We were text messaging, and you said this whole line to me, and I said, "Good, okay, dinner. I'll take Volk."
Yeah.
You went, not yet. And
I said, if he goes to 55 first, and then after if he loses and comes back down, I'll take Yair Rodriguez for dinner. Because the confidence won't be the same. He won't be the same fighter going up to 55 and then losing and coming back. No matter what anyone says, he will not be the same fighter.
I'm going to ask you a simple question. Who was the last fighter that Volkanovski fought that was shorter than him?
I don't know if they even make him that short.
All right, there you go. The only guy I could think of, maybe Chad Money Mendez. It might have been Chad Mendez is the last one. And, I mean, look, everybody he fights is taller, longer, all those things. Yeah. And it does not matter. That guy is fighting right now at a level that nobody else in that division, in my opinion, right now is going to touch. He is just...
Possibly nobody else in the UFC.
Yeah, I mean,
possibly.
Take a look. We were talking, and you gave me a message that a particular manager was not happy with me that I was saying that his guy wasn't the pound for pound now anymore. And I thought it was Volkanovski, taking nothing away from his guy, who was fantastic. But now the writers have done the same thing. So Volkanovski is considered the pound for. Look, he deserves it. His performances, the way he's been fighting, who he's been fighting, and the way he's been handling those fights, either with the finishes or just domination of the actual, fight completely. You got to give it to him. I understand if he's going to be out for a while with the broken thumb, the interim title crap doesn't mean anything to me. But if that's what they want to do, that's their business. Go ahead. I could see him coming back from the thumb injury, and you've got Charles, Oliveira going to be fighting your boy Islam October 22nd. Yep. I could see him getting a shot against the winner. And especially if it was Charles, was Charles, I could really see him getting that fight. I don't know if Islam right now, that's the right matchup, and to bring him up if Islam just won the title. It's something to think about, but I just look and I go,
don't want that. He don't want that Islam smoke.
Oh, now see, dude, there you go again.
Don't want that Islam
bullshit,
smoke.
Bullshit.
Bro, come
right
on.
Now, no. See, you're looking at things through rose-colored glasses because you know one guy.
Oh,
all right, no. Let's
just like Bobby Green was going to get out of the first round, right? John texted me, no, Bobby Green gets it. I said Bobby Green don't get out of the first round.
Well, no. I did. I thought he'd get out of the first round. I didn't think he would win, but
wrong.
Look,
John.
Things can happen in fights, but
this is true.
right now, whatever they're going to do with him. I could see Yair fighting Emmett. I don't want to ever put Josh Emmett down in any ways. He's a great fighter.
Yeah.
And I don't want someone to be saying that we are saying anything less of him. He's fantastic. But it's like you're saying, I would give the wrestling to Josh Emmett, but speed definitely goes to Volkanovski.
Yeah.
I think the power, yes, Emmett's got a good right hand. Volkanovski's got 2 good hands. And that's kind of an equalizer as far as, the whole thing. And then the big difference that I see is Josh Emmett is more of a partitioned fighter, meaning that for the most part, he boxes. Mm-hmm. And he'll use his wrestling sometimes, and he'll separate those 2 things and go. Volkanovski's the complete MMA fighter who transitions his kicks, hides his hands behind him at times, uses his wrestling. The only thing he really doesn't go after is a lot of submissions. Yeah. He uses ground and pound if he gets to the ground more often, but I just see him as the more complete mixed martial arts fighter at this time. But look, that's why you fight the fight. Josh Emmett can knock anybody out. Josh Emmett can beat anybody. But after watching the Calvin Kattar fight and looking and knowing everything, it's just a hard matchup. It's a hard matchup.
I look at if there is an interim title, it'll probably be Yair and Josh.
And that's
for
good.
the interim, which makes sense.
Yeah.
And then our buddy Brent, the one that was like ripping on me, I guess he would be right too. Josh would be next for the title shot then, to be Josh and Yair for the interim title.
Both would be next.
So, look, I just that's a bad matchup though as well. I think for Josh Emmett, Yair Rodriguez with the speed of the hands, the combinations, the way he mixes it up. And the ability he showed tonight in terms of his transition on the ground real quick. And I know it wasn't much. Like I said, you can't take away too much from that.
No.
But there was enough because Brian Ortega, he is someone that he sees all of these things coming.
Yeah.
He's a top level jiu-jitsu practitioner when it comes to the MMA style of jiu-jitsu, no gi, whatever it is. But his jiu-jitsu is one of the best in the game. And let's be honest, that I wouldn't say the armbar was close, but the fact that he even got his legs up over the head and had started pinching on that shoulder like that, the way he did, I was like, okay, I get it. Like, you're trying for submissions on a good jiu-jitsu guy.
Yep.
That let me know you got it wasn't close in terms of a threat. The confidence was there to go ahead and do that. Now, what do you think he's going to do to other fighters? I mean, I look at him. There was never any doubt. There's never been any doubt about how talented this guy is.
No.
He's had some mental issues throughout. I shouldn't call them mental issues. He just had some really weird situations go on throughout his career with the UFC. And but he's a very talented fighter.
Yeah.
I want to see him, I would like to have seen him versus Volk, because I think, honestly, he would give Volk a really hard time just the way his striking is.
I just don't see it.
Okay.
I know.
I guess we're gonna see that fight though. I think we're gonna eventually see
we
that
will.
Fight.
And
I hope so.
Dinner.
This guy always trying to hustle me.
I gotta get free dinner somehow, man. Come on.
Yeah. Next one.
Oh, Michelle Waterson Gomez against Amanda. Look at Amanda Lemos looked really good.
Guys, it's time to bring that summer heat into the bedroom. Look, John and I talk about all the time. Confidence is key when fighting. Well, guess what? Confidence can take you many places far in life. And that being said, it can also help you in the bedroom, especially when it comes to time to step up to the plate. John and I like to step up to the plate when we do this podcast. We also like to step up to the plate in the bedroom. And Blue Chew can help you with that. Blue Chew is a unique online service that delivers the same active ingredients as Viagra and Cialis, but is a chewable tablet and a fraction of the cost. You can get it for just a fraction of the cost. You guys, let me just repeat that one more time. A fraction of the cost. That means it's less and significantly less. That's where I like, because that's how I am. That's how Big John is with his money as well. That's why we do this. Look, you can take them anytime, day or night. The process is simple. Sign up at BlueChew.com, consult with one of their licensed medical providers, and once you're approved, you'll receive your prescription within days. With Blue Chew, men everywhere are excited to see the postman, because when your package has arrived, let me just tell you, your package has arrived. And that's, for me, is one thing that I love. When I know that my package can get there, I like that. So look, let's just be honest here. So if you could benefit from this, like a lot of people can, okay, from this extra confidence, when it's time to perform, use BlueChew.com can help you. And we've got a special deal for our listeners. Try Blue Chew for free when you use our promo code weighing in at checkout. Just $5 shipping. That's BlueChew.com, promo code weighing in to receive your first month free. Big John and I like things that are free. I'm sure everyone else does. First month free when you go to BlueChew.com. Use our promo code weighing in. Visit BlueChew.com for more details and important safety information. And we thank Blue Chew for sponsoring this podcast.
Michelle had her.
Did she look good? Did she look good, though, John?
Dude, she grabbed that. She jumped on that guillotine. You got to give it. That was not, it wasn't something that just fell into place. She jumped it. She grabbed it the right way. She put on the pressure. She created that submission.
Yeah, but there wasn't a lot of action before that submission. There was a couple combinations, couple landed shots, but
I think the big problem that I was seeing with Amanda is Amanda was loading up and trying to land big shots, and you saw her swinging some really heavy leather and hitting nothing but air at times, which took her off balance. And look, Michelle is a very difficult fighter to read because of the range that she keeps. She's got a lot of fast kicks, not a lot of power on them, but they touch. And she's very good at bringing. She's got a beautiful axe kick. She's super flexible, and she can bring a kick from any angle. So I can understand why Lemos was kind of like hesitant in trying to figure out that range. Yeah, that's a normal thing. I think she would have done better in that first round as far as if she would have just been trying to touch Michelle. Don't try to knock her head off. Just touch. And just keep on touching, because you're going to find it's easier to touch someone than it is to hit them hard. And so if you can touch them, then you can turn it on and add the power as you're going. But that's again, how many fights does she have? It's not like she's been in this game for that long. And when you get into that level and you start fighting people, you want to be impressive. You want all those things to happen. And she obviously has got power. You could see people react. Yeah. She's got a total of 15 fights. That's just when you're starting to learn how to be a fighter. Yeah.
It's true. I thought she had some good moments, but there wasn't a lot of action in that fight up until, the submission. I thought Michelle Watterson, what is with the last name? How did she just add? She all of a sudden added the last name. She just added
it. She's been married for a long time.
Yeah.
She just decided to add it.
Should have done it to begin with. Come on.
Same as
Michelle.
like when, Joanne Calderwood became Joanne Wood. Got married.
But they got married. Right?
She did it right away. I know, but
gotcha. Okay. I was just trying to feel like you just got out. I was like, well, you guys already have kids. You guys have been together for a long time.
Yes, they have.
Just all of a sudden just popped up out of nowhere. All right. For now, I'm going to call her Michelle Gomez. I'm not even going to call her Watterson.
Okay. Get rid of the Watterson.
No.
No one's going to know who you're talking about.
It was a lot of footwork, a lot of movement, from Michelle as usual. She's got good movement, good lateral movement.
Does.
She throws off the movement with some great kicks and some great combinations. Her wrestling's gotten a lot better, but Lemos is she's prepared everywhere. She's a true mixed martial artist. She's good on the ground. She's good on the feet. She's got power, like you said. And she sees the moment. That's really what it comes down to, is that she was able to capitalize on the opportunity right when it presented itself. There was no hesitation. She felt it go in under the chin. She locked her hands and jumped it. And I was like, ooh, I honestly, that's something like you would see like in the early, like in the late 90s, early 2000s in UFC, in fighting.
Yep.
Now, fighters are very rarely jumping that guillotine. Very rarely jumping the guillotine. There's certain guys that do it because they use their hook sweep off of it if they don't get it, if they're good at that. But reality is like not everyone's jumping and putting yourself on bottom voluntarily. I mean, I sure the hell wasn't, and very rare did I do it. Especially it was probably like in the late 90s when I used to do it. Overall, though, good performance by her. She gets the win. Let's talk about Lee, and I don't even want to butcher this guy's last name. How do you say it, John?
Muslim Silikov.
Okay.
Silikov.
I mean, both were looking good. Both were hesitant. Silikov was throwing all the spinning stuff. It wasn't really finding its mark, but it looked good. Lee was doing good with the long range striking. But overall, it was one of those fights that it was really whoever landed the first clean shot was the one that was going to be controlling that round. And we didn't see a whole lot of that in that first round. So when it got into the second, it was nice to see them finally getting after it a little bit right off the bat. Boom, boom. And then the nice shot that rocked him and threw him back, and then he finished him off. I was like, oh, shit. This guy's good. He's tough. I mean, I know he had a setback with Chimaev.
Yeah. He had a win against Ponzinibbio.
Yeah, he knocked out Ponzinibbio, right? I think the last time they were on ABC is what they were saying.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, you take a look at this fight. I personally, going into it, thought in the stand-up, I thought that Muslim would have been better because, that's what he's known for. He's got very good spinning attacks. He's really fast. He's got power in it. And I thought that, Jingliang Li would have been the guy who would have been trying to get into the clinch and work his way to fighting on the ground. His power made the difference. He has good power in his hands. Obviously, that's how he got the win against Ponzinibbio. Got the win here. I was impressed.
Yeah, overall good performance. Good performance for sure. Now.
Yeah, now
we're gonna spend some time on this fight because Matt Schnell is a fucking dog.
I told you that.
Holy shit! What a dog. John,
did we not tell people to watch this fight though?
Yeah,
before,
we did.
Okay?
But then, John, you and I were texting throughout this fight, and I was thinking to myself, I was like, I didn't text you that they should have stopped it, but in my mind, I was like, they should stop this fight. This guy's he's gonna get fucking.
Oh, he got frozen a couple. Dude, that elbow that hit him in the temple froze him. He was basically out on the feet, and then kind of brought himself back. And I was thinking, oh, they're gonna stop it. Oh, they're gonna stop it. And Jacob Montalvo did a fantastic job in this fight as the referee because he could have stopped it. But, man, you got to just go. I'm just going to say it. That second round, I think it was the second, wasn't it?
Yeah.
One of the best rounds in MMA history. That matches up with Diaz and Daly. It was unbelievable. Those two put on a show. And then when Matt Schnell comes back, and hurts him with that shot. You see him go back against the fence, and then boom, hits him, gets to the ground quickly to the mount, and starts opening up with elbows. You go, oh my God, he's gonna pull this out. He's turning it around. Yeah. Unbelievable fight. Unbelievable heart by both guys. Matt Schnell, you made so many fans off of this fight. Continue on, my man, because that's memorable. People will not forget those. Those are not good for you. They're not healthy for you. And when Dan Cormier asked him the question, he goes, yeah, I don't remember any of that. I was like, he's being honest. He doesn't remember it, but man, he was in trouble at times and came back. Same with, I can't even say Mujahari, whatever. He had moments where, he was having troubles in the first and he came back. Second round, he was looking so good.
Yeah.
Just an incredible fight.
Yeah. I mean, it got to the point where Schnell, honestly, I felt like the fight should have been stopped several times.
Yeah. It could have been.
I'm glad the ref let it go. But when it came to a couple of those exchanges, I'm thinking to myself, there's fights that we've seen throughout people's careers. And we've said this before, is that fighters leave pieces of themselves in that cage.
Yes, sir.
And this is one of those fights.
Oh, both of them.
Both of them took some big shots.
The winning fighter left pieces, and the losing fighter definitely did.
And it might, honestly,
excuse me,
the winning fighter might have left more of himself in there.
It's true.
That's really what it came down to. The shots he took in that round, the two elbows that stoned him, that froze him, made him stiff a little bit, and then also the shot that rocked him and had him doing the stanky leg. He was rocked, I'd say 3 or 4 times in that round.
Yeah.
And overall, it was a great exchange, great fight, great job by the ref and letting it go. Because if I'm that referee, I'm looking at him going, man, okay, I'm doing the Jason Herzog, fucking bouncing in and out, not sure what the hell to do. You know what I mean? So
there was a moment in that fight, if you're watching, and it was when Schnell took a couple of shots and then started firing back. And I looked at Jacob Montalvo's face, and he was in that oh, you're fighting back. I'm so close to stop, but I'll let you go. And he was actually visibly in pain, reffing that fight with what was going on, because he was like, oh man, I don't want you to get hurt. And that's what's going through his mind. But he did the right thing. He let the guy go because the guy was fighting back. He was still in that position where you could say, how intelligent was it? Well, I'm sure there was more training, and just the training took over more than there was thought process, but just an incredible performance. And that, again, one of the best rounds in MMA history.
I look at it though, John, as well, and I say
it actually had DC not able to talk. He was mumbling shit.
Well, DC at one point looked at Schnell and goes, he's been rocked 2 times already, and he's like, if I was him, I'd be circling and getting away, and he's walking forward. And I'm like, no, like DC, that's what you're supposed to do when you're in trouble. Like there's times where you circle and get away, but you could tell that his opponent was already, I don't want to butcher the guy's last name.
Yeah.
But you could tell he was already tired.
Oh yeah.
You could tell he was already tired. He was exhausted. He started moving him, walking him down, making him taking everything he had.
That's a tall dude for 125 pounds.
Yeah.
Man, there's not a whole lot of freaking marrow in the bones there. Someone's pumping some helium in that man.
You know, what's funny is, I was thinking the same thing when I saw Yair standing next to Brian Ortega, because Brian Ortega is not a short guy.
No.
And the two of them face to face, Yair's taller than him.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, damn, you're a big ass dude.
Huh?
He's not small. So,
Shane Burgos is a big ass dude. You want to talk about big 145er? Holy
that's
shit.
Ridiculous. Ugh, it's disgusting. Watch a guy that big. If I would ever, that guy should be fighting at 170. Jeez. If there was no weight cutting, he'd probably be an 85 pounder.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. But hey, got to tip our hat to Matt Schnell. He fought a great fight. Dug deep. Fucking grabbed his balls and just went after it. Very nicely done.
Fight of the night.
Yeah, hands down fight. Well, it was I know.
Fight of the night.
Yeah, hands down fight of the night. But it was almost like they had to follow up because of the Burgos and Charles Jourdain
which
fight.
Was a great fight.
They had to follow that up.
Which is why I started talking about it at the beginning of the podcast.
Yeah, but if you were going to start talking about one fight, you should have picked the best fight on the card, which would have been the one we just talked about.
But you brought up Charles Jourdain. I was just going with the flow.
I'm a Jourdain fan. You and I were talking about this. You were sending texts back and forth, and you're like, I don't give a shit if it's free or if it's on pay-per-view. I'm paying for a card every time he's on it.
Yeah.
He's was fun.
Every time I've watched him fight, the guy comes to fucking fight. There is no, I can't remember. Pull up his record real quick for me, Dave. I cannot remember his opponent's name. I can remember the look of it, but no.
Now you got me yawning, John.
Wrong guy there, Dave.
Oh,
I'm looking at him going, no.
You guys are talking about everybody?
Charles?
No, Jourdain.
Jeez, man.
I was looking at him going, no.
Screwing up my timestamps like crazy here.
Just the people in the comments.
Andre Ewell. That fight, when he fought Andre Ewell, which was, I believe, at the freaking Apex, no crowd or anything like that. Man, he was yelling, he was screaming, doing all kinds of, and having fun in the fight, doing crazy things. And you just look at you go, that dude's a savage.
Yeah.
I will watch him any time he wants to fight because he wants to take your soul. Yeah. He wants you to break. That's what gets that dude off.
Are you sure? I mean, maybe he's using Blue Chew. Man, his package has arrived. Oh man, look, he's talented. I love what he did. I love what he did in that third round.
Yeah,
he pushed Burgos to the end, to the breaking point almost. It was just touching him. Nothing was super hard until he had landed something clean, and then he exploded. Yep. And then he just was putting it together so well, fighting him in a phone booth. It was a fantastic performance. I had Jourdain win in the first round. You didn't.
Nope.
You had Burgos winning 1 and 2. But I also had Jourdain going 10-8 in the third.
I really don't have a problem with the 10-8 in the third.
So then
The
it should have been
biggest-
28-28.
I think now, yeah, the problem is the reason the judges didn't go is, did you see him knock him down?
No, that's true.
And that's really what they're looking. Look at you. You're going to have to. Yeah, you're putting a lot of shots on him and volume, and it's winning you the round. To get a 10-8, you're going to really have to do something that shows me that, man, you damaged him. You put him down. He's in trouble. You can finish the fight. And that didn't happen, and that's why they didn't give him the 10-8.
I mean, he was in trouble. Burgos was in trouble quite a bit in that round.
I'm not saying he wasn't. I'm
Got
not
it.
saying he wasn't. You're right. But that's the reason why. And there was the one, I think one gave a 10-8 round to Burgos in the second.
Mhm.
And I saw people, other reporters saying, there was no damage. Really? Let me put you in those chokes. Let me put you in those situations. A choke when you're not breathing, it's damage. It's the same as, it's not, I don't want to say it's the same as the hard punch, but it's damaging to you. And that works for damage itself. It's just not the same as punches.
Yeah.
So I can understand, it could have been a 10-8 in either. Possible, maybe not. I thought Burgos, I think I said it to you. I said, did you not forget the face crank, the neck crank? Like that hurt. That was the most telling thing that happened in the first round, because it put a lot of pressure on Jourdain. Jourdain's tough as hell. He's not tapping to it, but there was a lot on that choke, and you could see that when excuse me, face crank. And when Burgos finally let go of it, he kind of went like, man, I'm surprised that you survived that, because he's used to tapping people when he does that. And that was the biggest telling thing, and that's why I said that's why he won. I thought Jourdain had moments in the first round where he looked good. He was putting some volume on him, but nothing that hurt Burgos. And the most telling thing that happened was that neck crank, even though it didn't work. And this is where you'll get people, I hear them all the time, well, if it didn't work, then it's no good. Stop, okay? That's like saying the punch that didn't knock the guy out is no good, okay? Everything counts. You just have to have an idea of how good was it. But that was on tight, and that was something that Jourdain put up with a lot of pressure, a lot of discomfort, and that was the most telling thing that happened in the round, and that's why I ended up going with Burgos. Other than that, I thought they were very close. Maybe Jourdain a little better in the striking, but that neck crank or face crank, that was the big telling difference.
Yeah, I had it. Burgos or Jourdain winning the first.
You had it like your boy DC. You guys are sitting there texting back and forth. What do you think, Josh? I don't know, DC. What do you think?
Well, DC was finally on my level because he just went through his
Oh God,
his judging lesson in protocol.
I've already talked to the people that taught him, and I'm like, you guys didn't teach those some bitches nothing.
DC and I were on the same page. I felt confident going, hey, Jourdain won the first, because I knew that DC was on my level finally. Now that he's taking the judging criteria class.
There you go.
So, no, we were, just having fun with it.
All joking.
Yeah, I think I understood if they gave the first round to Burgos and the second also, but I also had Jourdain winning.
Well, he
10-8
definitely
in the
won the
third.
second. The second's not even a question.
Not even close. Yeah.
But
So,
and it's like, is there any
I would've
doubt
liked to
that
have
Charles
seen it be a
Jourdain
draw.
won the third? No. So it comes down to that first round.
I would have liked to have seen it be a draw so we could run it back.
I'd like to see him run it back anyways.
Yep, that's true.
They both went after it, and it was fun. That was a fun fight.
They fought
Lauren
a great-
Murphy coming back off of a disappointing performance against Shevchenko in a championship fight, going against a former champion in Miesha Tate in her first appearance at flyweight 125. Talk to me.
It's, I think because I've known Miesha for 20 years now, maybe even longer, it was a little frustrating to watch. I was texting you. I'm like, ugh.
You go, what? I'm so frustrated. What the hell?
Because, okay, let me give you an example. When you know that your cardio is a weapon,
Yep.
you're training with Sam Calavita, you're training with the guys like Juan Archuleta, TJ Dillashaw, Cub Swanson, Kyle Dake, all these guys that are training there with Sam Calavita for his conditioning. These are top level premier athletes that are training there. And there's a reason, because he does a great job of getting you in shape. Using your cardio as a weapon, knowing that you've been training there, is the number one thing she should have been doing. There was never a moment where she was utilizing all that hard training to push Lauren Murphy to the pace that she couldn't keep up with. Grind on her, hang on her, press her to the fence, do all of those things. Instead, Miesha Tate has never been a stand-up fighter. She's had some good stand-up battles. She can take a shot. She can deliver a shot.
Yeah.
She's always had a problem with her nose bleeding. She's broken it a couple times.
doesn't
I think,
matter.
yeah, all that stuff it doesn't mean shit. But my point, what I'm trying to get to is that use that cardio as a weapon. You spent the time training with Sam Calavita and all the other top level athletes being there, pushing you, driving you, making you work. 15 minutes, like she said in her interviews. Shit, this is going to be the best part. I'm afraid it's going to be too easy because you're in such a great shape. If that's the case, fight at a pace that no one can keep up with. She never at one time did that. She stayed on the outside, and when she did throw, you're fighting down a weight class, so those fighters are faster. People think that by going down in weight that, you're going to be the bigger, stronger fighter. Yeah, but then they're going to be faster. And the number one, and what do you say? Speed kills. Speed kills because no matter how big and strong you are, if you're hitting me and moving out of the way before I can land something on you, it's gonna ruin my rhythm, my rhythm, my movement, my striking. It's gonna ruin
balance,
everything. My balance, everything. It's really gonna throw me off, and that's all I saw.
Yeah.
Lauren Murphy is not a fast fighter.
She was today.
But Miesha Tate made her look fast, and it's not. I'm definitely not digging on my girl because I love Miesha Tate. It just was not. It was one of those things where you go down in weight and you realize that lighter fighters are faster. That's one. Two is Miesha's getting a little bit older now. I don't think the age has anything to do with it because she looks absolutely phenomenal. Just going down in weight, the athletes are going to be faster. No different than when Frankie went from 55, where he was the fastest fighter I think alive at the time in 155.
Yeah.
Then he went to 45 and they got faster, and now he's at 35 and they're faster. As you get older, you can't be going down as much because they're getting faster as you're getting slower. That's one. Two is she's never been a striker, been known for her striking. She's been known for grinding on you, getting the wrestling, getting the takedowns, ground and pound, pushing the pace on you. Use that cardio as a weapon into utilizing your wrestling, getting in the clinch, grinding on you, hanging on you, getting the takedowns, doing your work. That's what you have always been known for, and I didn't see that tonight. It's almost like they turned her into a striker, but that's not who she is. There was a lot of frustration in my voice, John, when I was texting you. I know you couldn't feel it, but I was trying to use all the words that would get it to
you
that you
were
could
using all those
understand.
words well.
Fuck. I don't know how many times I typed the word fuck and it came out ducking or fucking. It came out ducking or duck.
Duck.
And I was like,
You sent me a couple of ducks.
I was like, damn it.
Look, I'm going to turn this around though. And I'm going to point out, congratulations to Lauren Murphy, because it's not easy coming off of a loss like she had, a performance where she wasn't happy. She said she had this C. diff infection going on and stuff. And I saw a lot of people, blasting her for it. It's like, man, you can't have anything where you can sit there and say, hey, I wasn't 100%. I tried, but I made a mistake in taking that fight. It was a championship fight. I didn't want to give it up. Wow. People just are cruel, unbelievable how people are, because, hey, she had a problem. It doesn't matter. She lost the fight. She's not sitting there saying, oh, I would have won it if it was part of, the entire situation. That was part of her performance. She wasn't pleased with her performance, and she said she has done things to change those. If you recall, especially me, I kind of, I got all over her, corner, which is her husband. in that fight against Shevchenko because, I thought he was praising her and stuff. I said, you got to get on her. You got to tell her, hey, man, I need this from you, because you got to tell her you're not winning these rounds. And she went and she took care of that problem. Carrington Banks was her lead, in the corner. Her husband was there. And that's saying that, I'm looking at things and I'm trying to break down what it is that I need to do to enhance my performance, to be better. And she did all of those things in this performance. You got to give it to her. She looked good. She was the faster fighter. She landed the better stand-up shots. She was the better grappler throughout it. No one ever thought that she was going to be a better grappler than Misha. She was the better grappler. She went out there and took every round, basically. Yeah. I think, I think two of them had a 29-28. And sometimes judges, what they'll do is Misha did better in a round, but she didn't do good enough to win it. And because they do better, you give it to them. I got to give it to Lauren. Lauren Murphy, you look fantastic. That was a tough fight against a tough individual in Misha Tate, someone who was battle-tested, a former champion. And you went out there and you did your thing. Congratulations. That was a great performance.
Does Misha continue from here, you think?
I think she's going to continue on. I do think she's going to continue on. I think so. I don't want to say this in a bad way. Sometimes certain people need things.
Yeah.
They need these things, and they need, to have something to, focus on, to work towards, and all. And Misha needs that in her life right now. Maybe she won't after her next fight. Maybe her next fight is a win, and she goes, I'm done now. But I don't want to see her she's taking quite a bit of damage.
Yeah.
And so careful of, that she's always had a good chin. She's a tough individual. I would like to see her go back to more of what brought her to the dance. Mm-hmm. Her wrestling and her ground game was dominating. Yep. And once the fight hit the ground, she was dominating on women in her division. Now this is a different division, but a little bit less of the stand-up. I mean, use the stand-up to get to that takedown, but you got to remember what brought you.
Yeah.
That's the big difference.
I think there's a fine line. I think Sam Calavita does a good job of it. Is mixing in the fitness with the mitt work and the sparring and the grappling and all that stuff. Understanding where your heart rate is throughout the day, what your resting heart rate is when you wake up. All of those things I know he keeps track of. He keeps track of it every morning. He follows the process. The athletes follow the process if they want to be successful. Aaron Pico is one of the biggest advocates for Sam Calavita and what he does. He's like, look, he breaks it down step by step on what I'm doing and how my body is on the daily basis.
That must be the chlorine in your eyes.
Yeah, it's bugging me. It's like my eyes are watering. And like, if you ever had like chlorine or salt in your eyes, my eyes are just constantly watering right now, and so I'm like constantly having to rub
burning.
Yeah, they're burning. Enough of that whininess, Josh. Jeez,
whiner,
retired life.
Yeah, retired life. But I've seen a lot of fighters. Give you an example. BJ Penn used to train with these guys. I trained with them for a little bit, and when I was training myself, Luke Rockhold, what were their names? Their son, one of the guys, his son was the Marinovich. Yes.
Thank you.
Todd and Gary. Not Todd. Todd was the son.
Todd was the son. Marv.
It was Gary and Marv. Gary and Marv. So, anyways, BJ used to train with them. And then Rich Chow will tell you this. These guys all of a sudden decided that they were trying to convince BJ that they could do the boxing. That they could teach him how to box. And then they wanted BJ to do all these. They wanted him to train just their style of training. 2 hours in the morning, 2 hours in the evening, and all the sparring and the jiu-jitsu and all that stuff, that came after their training. Their training was the most important. And I didn't believe it. I didn't believe when I was talking with BJ about it and stuff, and I was talking with Rich about it. They're like, look, the guys, there's no doubt that their workouts are fantastic. But when you start making it a priority over the sparring, the mitt work, the technique, and the training, it doesn't make any sense. Whereas Sam, he's geared it to make sure that his workouts fit into what you're doing to become the best athlete you can, which is phenomenal.
Which is the way it's supposed to be.
when I had trained with those Marinovich guys, it's so funny. They started giving me the pitch, and we were only like a month in. Yeah, we can help you with your boxing. And I was thinking like, hey, like what? Like exercise drills? They're like, no, we can hold mitts for you and shit. I'm like, get the fuck out of here. I never talked to him again after that. But it was one of those things. Yeah, they wanted to be like in your corner. They wanted to get a hotel at your fights. I was like, yeah, you guys are just around for the publicity. Get out of here, kids.
Goodbye.
Yeah, it was nuts. But anyways, what I was trying to say is that certain fighters, when they go and they work with someone like Sam Calavita, they need to make sure that you're utilizing that as a weapon, utilizing your conditioning, your cardio as a weapon. And the grinding Miesha Tate that came up when I was coming up, the one that was in Strikeforce, pre-Strikeforce, when I had seen her fight on some of the small circuit stuff, that Miesha Tate is the one that should be utilizing that type of cardio and pushing people to the breaking point, wrestling, dropping on the single, going to the double, coming back up, punching, pressing to the fence, dropping back down, lifting, all those things. That Sam Calavita style of conditioning would best fit the Miesha Tate of old, not the Miesha Tate now. Just my 2 cents. All right, next fight.
Oh, Mr. Soriano versus, I'm going to say it, Lungiambula.
Yeah.
These guys are ex-sparring partners. They were both at Extreme Couture. I think Lungiambula is now with Sanford, but man, that dude is built like a brick shithouse.
You see his when his pants went up, you see his shorts went up. I was like, good God.
Yeah, fucking DC, look at his thigh.
Yeah.
But
this shit just like popped out.
Oh, dude.
It looked like he had a tumor growing on the front of his fucking leg.
Then he had his rib pop out, man. That's See, you need that fat to protect you. That's why I'm well protected. See,
yes, you are.
Rib's not going to pop out. It only break it on an oak tree. Yeah. But you got to give it Soriano really, knowing, having been there with, this guy, it just was a matter of time, and he looked really good. That was a big time shot that he hit him with. It froze him, hit him on the ground. The first shot that he hit him with, man, it was done. Good win for Soriano. He's looking good. You just got to give him some time. I look at this. This guy needs about 4 or 5 fights. 4 or 5, and he'll be up there if you put him with the right people and get him more experience. Because he's got power in his hands. It's a matter of when to use it, when to relax, and let's work on the grappling aspect a little bit, getting it to a higher level.
Does Soriano remind you a little bit of Brad Tavares?
Yes.
The same thing with me.
All the time.
Reminds me of Brad Tavares.
Yeah.
So I think the ceiling for him, we haven't figured it out yet.
No.
Yeah, there's plenty of room to grow. Yeah. Definitely.
All right. It's one of those, you could put him against guys right now that, they're going to beat him.
Yeah.
But if you work and just keep on massaging things out and working at certain areas and make it to where, hey, he's learning this whole time and give it a couple years off of like 4 or 5 fights, he'll be up there. All
this talk about Blue Chew got you massaging things out, huh? Love it. I have
no idea. You're the one with that blue whatever.
Yeah. Blue Chew.
Bill Algeo versus Herbert Burns. There's good and bad in this thing. There's good and bad in this. You've known Herbert Burns. You watched him fight multiple times. He came from ONE FC.
Yep. When I was working there, he was there.
He was doing well there. He's a great jiu-jitsu player. Outstanding jiu-jitsu. Better than Bill has ever been. But this is the difference of, look, MMA, everything changes when you can punch someone in the face. Mm-hmm. And Burns had the triangle. It was tight. He even got the arm across at a certain point. Algeo kept on getting it free. And just because of experience on the mats, knowing that, just, hey, I'm relaxed. I'm going to get out of this. Don't panic. And when you don't panic and you don't allow that arm to get across, the pulling on the head, all these little things that are the difference makers in that submission working, you can survive. You just got to tell yourself, I'm okay. I'm going to work my way through it. Algeo looked great. He looked, at the beginning, you could see there was a definite difference when that fight hit the ground. Herbert Burns was all over him, and Algeo was having problems. But again, it makes a difference when you can punch somebody. And as soon as the punches started landing, you saw the level start to change as far as what was happening and how in control Herbert Burns was.
Yeah, I saw some photos though. It looks like Herbert probably tore something in his knee.
Yeah, he had surgery before on his knee. I think he had an ACL replacement, and I think might have popped it again or something.
Yeah, something. So, I mean, and if you guys haven't fought or trained with something that's injured like that, it doesn't matter if you can work through the pain. It's just constantly on your mind. You're constantly thinking like, shit, what do I got to do to avoid this? And then everything they do, it just seems to hit that area. Yeah. It's no different than like when you sprain your thumb. Fuck, you bang your thumb on everything. Then you don't notice it until it's hurt. You're like, oh, I don't use it that often. And then you realize how often you use it. And so he was
true.
A lot of people they hit the Twitter and like, oh, he didn't seem like he wanted to be there. He's definitely no Gilbert Burns. He's not his brother, and he doesn't have the heart of his brother. Let's not jump to conclusions just yet. Maybe he hasn't had as successful of a career as his brother, but he's also the younger brother.
Yeah.
So give him some time. Give him
some time.
He's not too bad.
I will say, did you see the picture of Gilbert carrying him out?
Yeah.
God love you there, Gilbert. You know what? A lot of people, I saw people saying stuff. I'm like, are you freaking kidding me? Man, it's when you fall down and there are certain people that are there to pick you up. One being your brother, like Gilbert. God bless you, Gilbert. That's what you're supposed to do.
Yeah.
Wasn't his night. That's part of fighting. It's not the end of the world.
Yeah, you and I have talked about this a lot. I said, like, in 10 years, when they're all said and done, when they retire, 10 years after they're retired, no one's going to be talking about you. Nobody. And they very rarely will talk about even your greatest moments. So just move on.
That's it.
Don't care what people say. Like, scroll through and just move on. I mean, I love to get into battle wars on Twitter with people that have 2 followers because that's my life. That's my lifestyle, man. I'm like, I mean, the last thought that goes through my mind before I make serious decisions is, fuck it, let's just see what happens. That's kind of like that's really what goes through my mind.
Josh will get me on the other line. What are you doing?
Yeah,
He's like, I'm having fun.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll be battling with somebody and fucking Miss McCarthy and you will be texting me, what are you doing arguing with this guy on Twitter? I'm like, I'm having fun. I'm stuck at the airport. I'm bored, or I'm in like, I'm waiting for this to get done. At the grocery line or something like that. I don't know. I'm just fucking having fun.
I'm getting my oil changed. Leave me alone.
The fun, yeah. Fucking, I mean, like, I don't know. It's just me. I gotta have a little sense of humor here and there every once in a while. I gotta have fun with it. People, if you guys think I'm taking this shit serious, I don't take any of this stuff serious. I'm fun. I like to have fun with it. All right, next fight.
My man, the Hanyak. Goddamn, Bruce Buffer can't say Hanyak. But Dustin Jacoby, look at Unjung has power. He was.
Wait, you skipped one.
No, did I? No.
Yeah. No. We didn't talk about Ricky Simone and Jack Shore.
Oh my God, we did, and we did not. You're right. Ricky Simone, he's looking good. Jack Shore was a stud.
Yeah,
he's good.
He still is.
He's good. And Ricky Simone, man, he put it on him. That was a big shot right to the mount, started dropping shots on him. Beautiful submission, goes for it's an arm triangle, but he's doing it different. He's locking it up like it is a rear naked choke. A lot of strength. You look at his back, he's got a hell of a squeeze. Dude, he's coming on. He's going to be a difference maker in the bantamweight division. We talk about that division all the time and how stacked it is. Ricky Simone, his stand-up has gotten way, way better. And you can see the difference. You can see the calmness, how it's leading into him being better as far as when he makes a shot, when he goes for the takedown. He's just fighting way better now than he was 2 years ago. He's looking great, and that was a big win against a really good fighter in Jack Shore.
Well, let me ask you this. Is this win come because Ricky Simone's gotten better, or did it come because Jack Shore wasn't ready for that level of fighter?
No, it came because Ricky Simone is getting better. If Ricky Simone had fought Jack Shore, if this Jack Shore fought the Ricky Simone of 2 years ago, Jack Shore is going to win this fight.
Okay. All right, I can get behind that. I do agree that Ricky Simone's his boxing's gotten better. You can tell he's got some power in his hands. He's obviously a good wrestler. He's got good ground and pound. He's got good top heavy pressure.
Tank.
He's got a big gas tank, which is good. Jack Shore, to me, looked like he didn't expect Ricky Simone to be as effective as he was in their first couple exchanges.
I agree.
He's like, oh, shit. He's hitting me, and he's pushing me around. And then he started fighting off that back foot, and he didn't look like he was the same fighter.
Yep, I agree.
So, but I mean, overall, look, Jack Shore's young. He'll be back. What is he, 14-1 now? I mean, okay, so you lost your first fight. You learn a lot from losses. Yeah, you learn a lot from losses. You're going to move on, and we'll jump back into this shit in probably by the end of the year. So, good luck to Jack Shore on the recovery. Great job and great performance by Ricky Simone.
Thank you for pointing out that I missed that one.
And then there you go. Let's go back to where you were.
Dustin Jacoby against Jung. Man, I know there's people going to say, oh, it was a early stoppage, a quick stop. It was quick. That dude was hurt. Did you see when he went down and then when he comes up and he's got those eyes looking that way? I think Kevin McDonald saved him from damage. I thought big time win for Dustin Jacoby. I think that is Dustin's 6th fight in a row, 6th win in a row. Man, he's on a tear, and he was doing this. He's been doing this for a long time. Dustin was kickboxer, got into the UFC, was let go. He was in Bellator. He was fighting in Glory. Dude, he's on fire right now. He found the right guy in Greg Montoya. He's doing great things. Did I say Greg Montoya? Yes.
Yeah. Dave, is that Dustin Jacoby's 6th win in a row?
Take a look.
Yeah, 6th win in a row. Sorry.
6th win in a row.
4, 5, 6, 7.
He's got a draw in there, huh?
He got a draw in there.
There's the draw in there. Okay. So how many?
It's
more than
6.
6.
2, 4, 6, 8
Dude,
wins and a draw.
The last guy to beat Dustin Jacoby, go up there. John Salter, Bellator.
Wow, that's a long time ago.
Yeah, 2015.
2015
is his last loss.
Yeah, that means he's not very active then, John.
No, he's been
9
fighting pretty regularly. Look at
that's 7 years.
At 2020,
a little over 1
Well, he had a big gap. Here
2021, he had 4 fights.
2021, he had 4 fights.
4 fights.
Yep. 2 fights so far this year.
He's been fighting.
But
4
he had a
fights in a
4-year
year.
gap, Josh. See that
that's
right
what
here?
you're saying. Yeah, there you go. I missed
That's
the
what
gap.
he was fighting in Glory.
Kickboxing.
He was kickboxing in Glory.
Oh.
Good stuff. Good stuff. All right, next fight.
Dustin Stoltzfus versus your guy Dwight Grant.
Jeez, man.
Okay, I'm just gonna be honest. I texted Josh during this fight, and I said, Josh, you should have made Dwight Grant learn how to work his cardio the way that you used to if he wants to continue to fight, because dude, he gets exhausted. You can see it. I mean, it's evident. He was the better fighter. He was the better fighter in this fight, and he lost based upon conditioning.
How do I put this? I've said we and I were texting back. I'll just say how I said it in the text. Every Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, I would run sprints at the track. Every fighter that had fights coming up, they all knew. You came out to join me, you came out to join me. If you didn't, you didn't. It was an open invitation. It was every morning we did it. Every morning I did it. It went from the very first time we ever did it, there was like 15 of us. Literally like 3 weeks later, there was like 4. Fighters just don't, not every fighter wants to go out there and put it on the line. And a lot of the excuses that we would get is, oh, I've got to hit mitts later. Okay. Do your cardio, and then the mitt work will come into play. If your body's tired, your body's tired. But doing your cardio is going to help your mitt work later on throughout your camp, and you'll be able to get more reps in. You'll be a little bit faster. You'll be able to do more rounds. A lot of things happen when you're in better shape. Your brain functions a lot better. You understand the techniques that which your coach is trying to tell you as you're tired, and you can process it in the amount of speed that he's trying to tell you to do the combinations, so you can rip them off as he's saying them as you are tired. If you're not in shape, none of that shit happens. And so you can see when he shuts down, he shuts down. He has that knockout power. There's no doubt. But that's what you run into with a lot of these fighters that were blessed with power. Thank God I was never blessed with power. And so it just, you end up with fighters that fall in love with the power. Then they start thinking they don't have to do cardio. And if they do the cardio along with their power, then they just chase the knockout. That's all they do is run around. In his situation, I don't know what it is. Him, when he went up to 85, I was like, okay, maybe he'll be better in the second and the third round, because now he's not cutting all that weight. But he's not a big guy. He's tall. He's got really long reach. He's tall, but he's not like super tall. I think he's 6 foot, maybe 6'1", but I think he's maybe 6 foot. He's not a big guy. So 185, to me, I was like, you're not built for 185. You're built more for 170. It's like Ed Ruth. Him and Ed Ruth are very like similar. There's no way Ed Ruth should ever be fighting at 185. No. He should have been at 170 the whole time. But they didn't like to cut the weight. And I think the same thing with Dwight. Now that he was in the UFC, he's like, I'm going to cut 70, which is, that's the biggest reason why they took him, is because he was at 70. Now he wants to go to 85. Well, guess what? That wasn't a good appearance at 85. If I'm the promotion, I'm like, okay, you're pretty much now, you're just treading water, dude. You're just trying to collect the check. That's what you're doing. And Dwight's my boy. I mean, he trained with him for years.
Yep.
He's talented. I know he's talented, but when it comes to conditioning, then that's where he's lacking. That's an easy fix. That's a real easy fix.
We talk about it all the time. It's better to suffer in the gym than suffer in the cage. The fight is the easy part. That's when all the hard work's been done, and that's your payoff. And you look and you go, you're making this hard because you're not getting yourself prepared the right way to go into this, to give yourself the opportunity to win it. Because look, he was winning that fight. He won the first round, and then you got to give it to Stoltzfus. He just kept on hanging in there, used his wrestling, laid on him, put him in bad positions, made him work, and made him work to the point where that cardio, it became the problem. He could not keep going. He was stumbling over his own feet at times based upon he's just tired. That is something that can be remedied, but you got to suffer to do it. Got to be willing to suffer.
I agree. You can't live off your power. You can't think that by going up in weight that it's going to make that big of a difference. Those little tiny, put the work in. That's the number one thing, is put the work in. And I know he can do it. That's the biggest thing, is I know he can do it.
Do you think they're going to keep him?
I think they're going to keep him because he's exciting. He either goes out on his shield or he puts people out on their shield. Mm-hmm. I mean, he's a dog. He'll fight hard. I mean, tonight was not a great performance, but that's 3 losses in a row now, right?
Yep.
I mean, I think they're going to give him another chance because he does have some good knockouts. They've got a highlight reel they can run for him. He's had some exciting fights, and I'm a firm believer that if you have a fighter who has exciting fights, I don't give a shit if he's losing. Keep fucking fighting him. Keep fighting him, because those are the ones that people they Nate Diaz, Nick and Nate. I mean, like, their records don't show that they're fucking world beaters. But damn, they're fun as hell to watch.
Yeah, that's true.
I know I just try to compare Nate and Nick to Dwight, which is not the case. But you understand what I'm saying? Like,
you're making a point.
Yes, exactly. Thank you. So I wish Dwight the best. He just got to figure that. He's got to put that work in the cardio. That's it.
Yeah,
next.
It really does.
All right, you guys. Any more fights on here?
Yeah, you got to give it up for Emily Ducati. She went out there and put on a good performance.
Mm-hmm.
Made Jessica Penne have nothing but problems throughout the fight. She won every round of that fight.
Calf kick changed the game, man.
Calf kick, man. Well, she had her hurting with that calf kick, man. She had her hobbling on one leg at times. Give it up for Jessica Penne being tough, sticking with it, staying in there. She really didn't even change stance. It's not like she switched to being a southpaw.
you've got at this day and age, you've got to
You
be
gotta
able
be
to
able
have
to.
a couple. You've got to be able to switch stances. You got to be able to have a couple combinations off of your switch stance, just to break up the rhythm. I mean, to make it as simple as possible, I think for these young fighters, you don't need to be a TJ Dillashaw and a Dominic Cruz when it comes to switching stances. Okay, you guys don't have to be out there looking like you're doing the fucking chicken dance out there, like switching stance left and right. But switch your stance to break the rhythm of your fighter. Throw one combination, either to the body, to the head, whatever it is. Throw some leg kicks. Then go back to your regular stance. Make them always be thinking. Make your opponent always think. She never made Dakota think. And Dakota was like, fuck, the leg's there. You're not switching your stance. I'm going to keep tearing this thing up.
And she did.
Dakota was in Bellator for a while. I mean, she's a good fighter. She's not a great fighter.
But she's fighting in a better. She's fighting in a better weight
class. Yes, better weight class for sure. Yeah, she should have been fighting at 125. She should have been at 115 the whole time.
She's suited more for 115. That's a good weight class for her, and you can see the.
She's gotten better. She's gotten better since she's left. Since UFC or since Bellator released her. She's good. She's gotten better. She was always up there too, like always kind of making a run at the title. Then she came up short against Alimale, correct?
Yep.
She had fought again. I think she had fought. Did she fight twice? Did she fight twice, Alimale?
No, she fought once.
No, just once.
Once against that was the inaugural 125-pound. No one held the belt. They put those two against, and Alimale won.
Got it. All right, well, hey, that's going to wrap up our UFC talk, and we're going to move into some news. And Podcast Dave's got some news for us.
Yeah, well, let's just let's do this one big story. I know you guys are going to riff on it for quite a bit here, so let's talk the announcement of Islam versus Charles Oliveira for the UFC title in October.
I am going to be pushing pushing this fight on you the entire time from now until October 22nd, because Do Bronx, the man that should be the known lightweight champion of the world, he's going to do work on the 22nd. You watch.
You mean he's going to get worked? That's what you meant to say. I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh, we're going to go back and forth on this one. Well, now I want to talk about a product that I love. It is Fume. Fume is a perfect way for you to become a healthier person. It will help you get rid of any kind of smoking or vaping habit that you have, that hand-to-mouth action that you are so accustomed to doing without even thinking about it. Well, you can do it with this implement, the Fume product, the enhanced cores that are in there, cores of essential oils. It's a perfect way for you to then get rid of that nasty smoke or vaping. This is a healthy alternative. You can do this in front of your kids. You can do this in any environment at all. You can do it on a plane. You can do it on a train, because it doesn't affect anybody else, and it's a healthy thing for you to do. If you are a woman and you're pregnant and you have a smoking habit, get to Fume. Fume will help you with that habit and replace that nasty smoking that you've been doing. I want you all to go to Breathe Fume. And when I say Breathe Fume, get rid of the E. It is breathefume.com. Go and use the promotional code of weighing in. So breathefume.com/weighing in. Use the promo code weighing in, and you will get an additional 10% off on your purchase. Go to Fume. I believe in it. You will too once you use it.
I got a lot of love for Charles, man. I think Lane, I'm going to be 100% honest. This will hands down be the toughest fight that Islam's ever faced.
Yes.
Because there's a threat in every component of this fight. On the feet, there's a threat. They're on the ground, there's a threat. In the wrestling, I know everyone, I'm a homer for my boy, but Charles Oliveira will give him a little bit of a problem in the wrestling area. You want to know why? Because there's different ways that Islam's going to have to wrestle him to avoid putting his neck in the wrong position. That's going to change the way Islam implements his game plan. He's going to have to make sure his head's not on the outside. He's going to have to make sure the head's on the inside. He's going to have to make sure that he's high up on the crotch. He's not hanging his head down low by the waist. There's a lot of different things that Islam's going to have to do to make sure he avoids Charles' submissions. There's a threat everywhere. Charles maybe has the cleaner stand-up, but I would say that Islam's maybe got the bit more power. But I don't know in terms of when it comes to combination, Charles throws his combinations in bulk. He'll throw 3, 4, 5 punch combinations, whereas Islam's throwing
does
2.
Not.
He doesn't. He throws 1,
Exactly
maybe
right.
1, 2, maybe 1, 2, 3. it's 1-2 and a kick, or a kick and then 1-2.
1-2 and a clinch.
Exactly. Charles is not that. Charles is throwing uppercut, left hook, right hand, finishing with a knee or a kick. He's mixing it together really well.
Mm-hmm.
The thing that not one advantage, where I feel that Islam has the advantage is that Charles Oliveira could potentially get complacent being on his back, chasing submissions. And that will eventually slow him down as the fight goes on. And all Islam has to do is just avoid those submissions. I know that's easier said than done, but I think that Islam can do that because Islam, people don't understand how damn good he is on the ground. He is not just a wrestler. His submission game is fucking really good. Everyone's like, yeah, but Charles Oliveira is a world class. I don't give a shit. Do you remember that shirt that Khabib wore years ago? If Sambo was easy, it'd be called jiu-jitsu. They make fun of fucking jiu-jitsu guys because they've trained with jiu-jitsu guys. They're considered to be the best jiu-jitsu guys in the world, and they fucking eat them up. Nom, 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 nom. That's all they do is eat these fucking jiu-jitsu guys up. So they've been around these guys for the longest time, fighting and training with the best jiu-jitsu guys in the world. There's nothing that Charles is going to do to him that he hasn't seen before. Now, the attack, the speed of it all, the transition of it all, he's got to be cautious and careful. And like I said, this will be his toughest task to date, will be Charles Oliveira. I don't look at anybody else in that division that will give Islam a problem except for Charles.
Dave, what's the age of Islam Makhachev?
I think he just turned 30.
Is he 30 now? Because I
think
said
he just
29 is what I thought.
He might be
turned
29.
30 last September.
September 27th. Okay.
Oh, he's about to be 31.
Yeah, there you go.
Fucking old man now.
The real difference that I see, I'm just going to say it. There was a time in Charles Oliveira's career where mentally he wasn't the strongest fighter at times. It's like there wasn't that, when we talk about confidence, there wasn't that belief. When things started to go bad, he didn't believe, and things continued to stay bad. He's a different fighter now. And this is the fighter that Makhachev at 30 is going to be facing. Charles Oliveira now, mentally strong. He has shown it in his last couple of fights, how mentally strong he is. He showed it against Michael Chandler. He showed it against Dustin Poirier. He showed it against Justin Gaethje. He's shown it in the last, 3 years of his career. It has been incredible, the change of the mentality of this guy compared to what we were used to before. And then that's not putting him down. Before, he was a phenomenal fighter, but you could see when people could start to give him problems, and it was almost like the confidence went away and he became average. He is not doing that now. And obviously, Islam Makhachev is a phenomenal fighter, and he could win this fight. But I'll tell you what, he's going to have the fight of his life to get that win. He is fighting the very best fighter he has ever faced when he faces Charles Oliveira on the 22nd. And so, I don't give a shit about the numbers of 1 and 4. It should be C and whatever they want to put Makhachev at. But Makhachev should be right up at number 1 now, somewhere around there. These are the two best guys that the UFC has in the lightweight division at this moment. And hats off to him for putting this together, because this is the fight that people want to see.
No, I agree. I absolutely agree. The fact that they're having it in Dubai, right?
Yep.
So they're having it in Dubai, which is,
why?
To me, is going to, yes, because that's where all the money is.
That's it.
Because when you want to break it down, who is the draw? It's Islam Makhachev is the draw. Everyone's going to say, and you guys are, I can just see that. I can already foresee the comment section saying, what the fuck are you talking about? Charles is the draw. No, guys.
No, not in a Muslim area.
Not. See, you guys are living on this, you're living on this side of the world.
Yes.
That side of the world that pays all the money, okay, he's the draw, and that's why they're going there. It'll let you know right off the bat. Yeah, exactly. It'll let you know right off the bat who's the draw, because they're having the fight in that area. That lets you know who the draw is. So it's, when it comes down to this fight, Charles presents a ton of problems for Islam. Islam has the solutions for all of them. You brought up a good point, though, John. Charles Oliveira was not as confident as he is now. Islam Makhachev is gaining the confidence, but I don't know if he has it where he needs to have it right now. That's the other thing.
He is not. I'm going to say this, and it's just my belief. He is not, and has never been at the level of his mentor. He's always been that step
You're talking
behind
confidence,
in confidence.
though.
Confidence.
You're talking about confidence.
I'm talking about confidence.
Yeah.
Because the guy that he believes in Khabib was an incredibly confident individual that every time he stepped out there, I'm going to smash you.
Oh, yeah.
Islam says the same things.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't have the same confidence.
Yeah, he needs to believe because I've seen the level.
I'm not saying you haven't, but you
No.
can see there is a difference.
No. I'm saying I've seen the level of his abilities in the training room. I've seen it in the cage as well. But I have also seen that he has gotten more confident as every fight has gone on, whereas Charles has done the same. Charles knows, I think, the supreme confidence that Islam needs will come when he wins the title. That's what's going to take him over the edge. Until he wins that title, it's going to be looming over his head. Can I do it? Can I do it? Because Khabib did it.
That's
because Khabib's father had it all planned out that Khabib would do it first and then Islam would do it second. This is all their plan. This is Khabib is trying to do the best he can to follow through for his father's wishes to make Islam a champion. And they're gonna fucking lay it out there. They're gonna lay it on the line. I'm telling you right now, it's gonna be a fucking great fight. I feel that, and this is, and no matter how everyone wants to talk about, I am 100% a homer, and I'm gonna continue to be a homer up until this fucking fight happens. And if you guys don't like it,
I'm gonna be a homer too.
Yeah, it's like you can be a homer all you want. I'm a
homer on Dubron.
But in this situation, in this fight, and right now, what I'm saying, I'm not going to be a homer in this one comment. Islam has all the ability to stuff everything that Charles does, but he has to believe that he can do it. And I think if he believes that he can do it in that night, he doesn't need to be better than him every single night, as BJ Penn would say. I only need to be better than you that night, at that moment. That's it.
That's right.
And if Islam can do it, I don't care how great he is in the cage or in the training room. If he's better than him, if his confidence is key in that night, I think he'll be able to walk through Charles if he goes in there and he shows all of his tools and his weapons. I think that he's able to take him down. I think he's able to stuff everything he does. I also maybe even think there's a chance that he subs him. That's just and that's not bias. And because we've seen Charles get subbed by lesser guys.
Yeah, but he was a lesser fighter back then.
He was. I agree with you. I do agree with you.
Skill-wise, very skilled. Mentality, different.
How strong do you think Charles is?
I think he's damn strong. He's a lot stronger than people realize, especially in the legs. Just like Islam is much stronger in his lower body than people realize.
Yeah.
When you get that feel and they grab hold and they squeeze, you go, God damn. Well, I think Charles he's got that in him, and you can see it in certain aspects of what he does. You see it when he gets the body triangle, when he gets Brian Ortega said it very well, that, when he grabbed the neck of Volkanovski, he knew, I'm going to be champion. And then Volkanovski didn't do what Brian expected him to do, which was tap. And then Brian did not do the things that he needed to do to adjust that hold to make it work, because it was there. But it's all the little elements, and this, little things make big differences. And right now, when you watch Charles Oliveira, when he gets the neck, he does everything right. He doesn't sit there and all of a sudden start squeezing before he has it the right way. He doesn't waste energy. He doesn't waste that time. That shows me how smart he is now as a fighter. Everything he's doing is showing a high fight IQ. It is showing confidence. It is showing heart. He is showing balls. All of it. He's got it at this moment. Charles Oliveira believes in Charles Oliveira. That's a dangerous dude.
But as DC said during the broadcast,
I don't care what DC says.
Bro, you
DC's a
should
fucking
start.
homer.
Wow,
He's a fucking homer.
Wow.
He's a dude. He's just like you.
He made a.
I've got
he made
these
a,
letters,
he-
AKA behind me, and that guy
stop.
trained there. Homer.
He was just stating a fact. Charles Oliveira has been dropped in every fight that he's just fought.
Yeah.
He's
And
been
Charles
getting dropped by
Oliveira won
everyone.
every one of those.
He
That
did.
shows
He
something
did.
about him.
It does.
Yeah,
I
it does.
agree. It does. I understand that. But in this situation, right? I'd like it. All right. Well, and when's the shot that's going to be finally the one that puts him out?
Well, it
You
could
never know
happen.
you never know
It
when that's going to happen.
Could happen.
It could.
And the downfall of Dagestan could also
Oh,
happen.
wow. Someone's a little salty over there. I don't think so, buddy.
I gotta hold up one half of this fight. You're holding on to one. I gotta go with the other.
Yeah, between now and then in October.
Oh, it's gonna get ugly.
It's going to get nasty in here. It's going to get nasty in here. Fucking. It's going to get nasty.
I love it.
It's really going to come down to me smashing Big John like I always do,
Oh,
and
there
Islam
it
being
is.
correct. Islam winning me that steak dinner again. I'm loving that. I'm loving that. Anyways. All right. Well, hey, that's going to wrap up our show for today. And go to WayneInPodcast.com, pick up some of our merch. We've got plenty of shirts, sweaters, hoodies, all of these things available, sweatshirts. All of these things available for you. We've got the 5 rounds main event shirt is out. We have another one that's coming out as well. It's a little play with like the Homer Simpson thing, but it's pretty cool. And we've also got hashtag and still, and then hindsight is 50-50. Got our OG logo and our new current logo as well. And then there's a bunch of other shirts that are available on there. Home Improvement, Terminator. We've got different types of logos that are up there. So check it all out at WayneInPodcast.com. Pick up some of the merch and retweet, repost, or whatever. We'll do that for you as well. Thank you guys for continuing to support us and our show and our podcast. Please share our show to everyone that you guys know that likes MMA and have them hit the subscribe button. Thank you. John, take us away.
Sounds good to me. I hope you had fun watching the fights like we did. We hope you enjoyed the show. Thank you for tuning in, and we will see you.